Welcome to All My Marketing Smarts live show, to this live show by Marketing Profs and the Marketing Smarts podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much more each and every week. Hey, if you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, grab a beverage, a notepad, or at least some style of writing utensil, and welcome to the show. Marketers are often told to avoid salesy content, to offer something helpful and customer focused instead. But that doesn't mean avoiding talking about your service entirely, explains Martin and Lyndsay Huntbach. Your customers are interested in you, says Lyndsay. They're just not interested in the things like what award you've just won or your new office plans per se. They are interested in your products and services and learning whether those products and or services are right for them. And if you take the right approach, prospects will have all their questions already answered in the content. So when they come to you, they're ready to go. Success to us looks like a call with a client who is already primed, already very aware of how we operate or you operate, how you work, how much you charge, so that by the time they speak to you, they're already set to click that buy button and get started, says Martin. That and so much more. Yes, from Martin and Lyndsay in today's Marketing Smarts live show. Hello to all my Marketing Smarts live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you episode 51 of the Marketing Smarts live show. This week's topic is all about B2B marketers and creating content that sells. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up and let's get ready to rock and roll. You know me, hopefully, but maybe not. If you don't, I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst for growth, and host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast found on your favorite podcast app. You do have a favorite podcast app, correct? Anyway, our guest clips today are brought to you by none other than Martin and Lyndsay Huntbach. Martin and Lyndsay Huntbach are the owners of Jammy Digital, an award-winning SEO and content marketing agency for businesses that aren't afraid to stand out. They do their best work with personal brands, helping them find and retain better, higher-paying clients who don't gobble up their time. They also published a best-selling book, Content Fortress, that protects businesses owners from unnecessary stress by helping them attract their dream clients. Now, remember, the clips of Martin and Lyndsay Huntbach today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview with Martin and Lyndsay and myself, make sure to tune into the Marketing Smarts podcast. Link to the full show will be in the description below after the live show ends. Now, in this episode, again, I'm talking with Martin and Lyndsay about B2B marketers and creating content that sells. The first question I wanted to ask Martin and Lyndsay was where to get started when creating a strategy around content marketing that leans into the sales side of the B2B marketing content. And here's what they had to say.
So the first thing you need to do is what we call escape SEO no man's land. Which is let's create content for SEO reasons. Let's create lots and lots and lots of helpful content and create it in the hopes that Google's going to reward us from it. If Google closed down tomorrow and you weren't able to create content that ranked on the first page of Google, how would we make sales? And the thing to remember is that when you create content, and we're talking all about sales content, so it might feel that the content we create is 100% this kind of content, and it's not. It's very marginal. You know, you might be talking 1 in 10 pieces of content would relate to what we're talking about, but that 1 in 10 makes all the difference. It really, really does. If you create 10 super valuable articles that don't directly lead to your products and services, but you create one that does, if you do it right, I'm talking about a promotion strategy, I'm talking about getting your email list involved, or by the way, check this out, I'm talking about repurposing it. You know, you can create a whole lot of content around that sole piece of content. So I don't want anybody to think that they have to completely change their content, calendar and strategy and processes. It's just about adding a drip of that kind of content would
just
make
a little nudge.
huge difference to revenue. It literally transformed our business when we did this. And we, we've not looked back since, and we try to write one of these articles every month or two, just to explain more about what we do when we get questions and as and when they come. So yes, it's just a very simple strategy that doesn't require you to completely throw out the rule book and start with a blank canvas. It's just about dripping some of this content in and communicating it with your audience. That's key. We're not just hoping that Google sends us traffic. We're creating this content and then pulling people in to consume it and getting those people over the finish line.
Yeah, and a good place to start is whenever you make any change to your product or service, anything different, you add something, you raise your prices, you start using AI, whatever it might be, just create content around it. Even if you start with something as simple on social media, and I bet you'll be really surprised at how many people engage with that content, especially if they're already getting content from you that's full of value. They love that, and then they're like, okay, they're raising their prices. What's that about? I want to know more. And this content really does very well. To you, it might seem like, well, why would anyone be interested in this? But they really, really are. And it's what will lead to sales. But as Martin said, just keep it light. It's like a seasoning rather than the main meal. It's not something that you should be doing every week, because obviously that is going to get very annoying.
Notice what they said. You don't need to make a radical change. You just need to give your content a nudge. No need to throw out the historical marketing content rule book per se. No need to start from scratch, if you will. If you do something new, create content around it, and then tell a little bit about you, your company, and maybe a little bit of the behind the scenes thinking that you're doing. So, want to learn more about this content seasoning, as Lyndsay said? Well, we'll get back into that in a bit, but I have to ask, does your content only have an SEO strategy right now, or are you digging deeper? If so, how? Put the answer to that in the chat pane, or let me know on Twitter using the hashtag MPB2B, and of course, tag me using @GeorgeB.Thomas. Now, we'll get back to Martin and Lyndsay and their thoughts on B2B marketing or marketers and creating content that sells. But first, I have to ask, are you part of the Marketing Profs community? If not, become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. You won't regret the additional learning you're adding to your life. Now, it's time for one of my favorite sections in the B2B News, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips we find on the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business. This week, the title is How to Build a B2B Content Marketing Strategy That Converts by Neelam Goswami. Content marketing plays a key role in both customer acquisition and retention. Whether you're selling an everyday commodity or advanced business software, getting found on relevant searches is more important than ever, as everyone is looking for answers online. Influencing B2B buyers is difficult, so your B2B content marketing strategy is vital. What should your B2B content marketing strategy look like? How do you lead hard to convince B2B buyers to purchase decisions? Let's find out. To find out, by the way, you're going to have to check the link in the description, read the article. Of course, after the live show is over, you'll want to wait for that, then hit that link and check out that article. So let's get back to Martin and Lyndsay and their Marketing Smarts podcast episode. How do you create content that sells? How do you create that content without putting people off because you feel like you're being salesy? Listen to what Lyndsay and Martin have to share and the example they make. Sure. Listen. No, seriously, pause for a second. Get ready to listen to the example they make. Sure, they have their own clients to lean into, but so do you, and you want your clients, potential customers, to lean into. Seriously, take a listen to this.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually, because a lot of our clients come up with this when they are afraid, and you actually mentioned it before, of putting people off. So a great article that we actually talk about that it does actually sell really well is why you shouldn't work with us, why we're not the right fit for you, which automatically people think, well, I'm going to put people off. but what it does is it just increases sales in those people who are your ideal audience, because they're there to essentially understand that you're just not out there to work with everyone. They know that you're choosy and selective, and they understand that they're the right fit for you. So that's incredibly powerful and builds a lot of trust. But really, it's the first thing with our clients is getting over this kind of mental hurdle of, I don't want to put anyone off. So what they do is when they create these kind of articles, they're very wishy-washy with the points. So for example, reasons you shouldn't work with me, I don't know, you don't breathe air, something like that. Like, be direct with this kind of article. So when we created this for us, we say, if you want a kind of a yes man or yes woman to do exactly what you say, that's absolutely fine. That's not a problem, but we're just not the right fit for you. You might need to find someone else. And, this is maybe what sort of person you would need, or what sort of industry you should look at. And really just actually highlighting and going deep into who it is that you want to attract, and being very, very clear on that. And don't be afraid of putting people off, because I promise you, you will then attract more of the right people.
It's the lurkers. You've got to love the lurkers. They're always there. They're always listening. They're always watching. They just need a gentle nudge sometimes. Yeah. And that kind of content will essentially list all of the reasons that you wouldn't want to work with somebody. But throughout that content, you essentially just highlight the reason that you don't want a yes man or yes woman is because you need some guidance, you need a strategy. Luckily, we've got all of this results and it's fantastic, and rankings traffic. That happens because we tell you what needs to happen in order to make this a success. If you don't want that, by all means, don't work with us. So 90% of the people actually would look at that and think, no, I understand now. Initially, this is what I thought, but now I understand what you're saying. And all of those points throughout that piece of content do just a really good job of explaining what you do and why you do it. It also gives you that velvet rope policy to say that this is the dress code when working with us. And I think there's nothing better than having a dress code in any organization to say some people will work and some people won't work, and that's okay. We just choose to work with people who there's most chance that we're going to help them become successful. And in order to do that, you have to be able to say this, or you have to be able to do that. And it's just nice. People like consistency and formality sometimes. They might not think that they do, but everybody needs a routine. And I think if you can create a little bit of a routine on attracting your clients and put some velvet ropes up and keep things in line, because you have the path to success. We all know how clients can be successful. It's just that sometimes they veer off track.
I have to ask, are you creating content to attract all the eyeballs, or are you creating the content that grabs the right eyeballs? Are you creating content that lets your audience know what working with you looks like and what success looks like as well? Are you creating those velvet rope opportunities? Now, we'll get back to Martin and Lyndsay in a few minutes, but first it's time for some dope B2B learnings from the vault of Marketing Prof's articles. That's right. It's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article number 1 this week is Content Marketing Operations: 5 Essentials for Consistent Success by Molly Kumoto. By now, most marketers understand the massive impact content marketing can have for a business. 55% of marketers say blog content creation is their top inbound marketing priority, according to HubSpot. But there's more to the content puzzle than just the writing. Though no one is going to read a blog or other content that is boring, dry, or otherwise bad, the ability to write great content is a necessary skill, but it's very different from managing a content marketing strategy and program. When leading the content charge, marketers have plenty to think about. The topics to cover, the keywords to include, the frequency of publishing, and the tone of voice for content all come to mind as obvious considerations, not to mention, are we going to use AI or not in this world of AI? But one massive part of content marketing that's often not given enough attention goes beyond basic campaigns. It digs into how the content machine runs. It's about the entire content marketing operation. Now, you can find out more link in the description. But article number 2 this week is 5 serious content marketing mistakes you need to avoid by Swati Sani. Now, done well, content marketing helps businesses build brand awareness, increase visibility, and generate more leads, ultimately driving sales and growth. Yet many businesses struggle with their content marketing. It takes a ton of effort to create great content that provides value to audiences and delivers on your KPIs. And although you may be focused on creating quality content, inevitably some critical mistakes end up diminishing the impact you want to have. To harness the full power of your B2B content marketing, here are 5 biggest mistakes you need to avoid. Want to keep learning what those 5 things are? If so, check the links in the description below after the live show to get access to both amazing Marketing Profs articles. All right, back to Martin and Lyndsay. Let's dive back into this conversation of B2B marketers and creating content that sells. The next thing I wanted to dig into even deeper was this success word. How do we know when we make this change to content that sells? How do we know that it actually is being successful for our organization? And here's what both wanted to share with you.
Yeah, so it comes from when you get to the point and you're speaking to a client. Think about 12 months ago. Think about some of the longer conversations you've had with clients. Think about how long it's taken for you to get clients over the finish line, multiple emails, maybe 2-hour phone calls or Zoom calls or face-to-face meetings even.
Or even getting a lot of our clients and us ourselves have been ghosted in the past, so experienced ghosting. We actually did
send a proposal.
Yeah, all sorts of things. Yeah, so they've really struggled with those kind of things.
So success to us looks like a call with a client who's already primed, already very aware of how you operate, how you work, how much you charge, so that by the time they speak to you, they're already set to click that buy button and get started. And we love it when we speak to people on calls and we start to talk about what it is they do and they already know everything and they're ready to sign up within 21 minutes, which is an example that we talk about all the time. The fact that we went from 2-hour Zoom calls to a 21-minute Zoom call where someone just said, I don't really know why we're speaking because I already know everything there is to know, but we just want to ask you about the invoice, can you put it in this business, we just set up a new business. Yeah,
usually the address or something like that.
It's those finer details and you can't help but laugh, but it is true. That's what success looks like. It means that you can sell to people without having to sell anything at all.
Yeah, and it's getting over that hurdle as well, because I think we think that this is the norm, especially in B2B, and especially if it's a high investment. We think, okay, well, we have to get people on calls, we have to do a proposal, then we have to get them on another call, and this actually from the point where they contact us to the point of the sale can be months, or they might just ghost us and we never hear from them again. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of accepted, and it shouldn't be, because if you use content, you can actually really have really enjoyable sales calls that last 15 to 20 minutes, and then they just go ahead and sign up because they've already done that work without you there.
Mm-hmm. And it does come back to the current process. What are the current problems in your business? What are the current bottlenecks? Is it the sales call? Is it the fact that you're attracting the wrong clients? And we recently did and we thought, maybe it's just us. Maybe this is just relevant to us because this is how we've, changed our business for the better. But we actually did a survey recently of over 500 people, and we found out that these people have the exact same issues that we had a few years ago. We were finding that most people get ghosted by clients.
Yeah, I think it's like 84% of people that experience,
can you believe it?
Ghosting.
They never hear back after spending hours doing a proposal. Or another one was 7 out of 10 people have lost sleep due to difficult clients because they don't have a process in place, because they're not using content to protect themselves. And there's just so many. All of the data that we got was quite upsetting, to be honest. But I'll send you a report so you can see it. I'm sure it's going to be pretty helpful. But it just was, for us, a sign that we needed to be out here talking about it more. And it's what we enjoy to do.
Are you selling to people without having to sell at all? Are you leveraging your content to change the buyer's journey that your potential prospects, leads, and customers need to go through. Are you in this world of getting ghosted? Are you in this world of losing sleep because of difficult clients? And maybe the most critical question or tip I heard, are you using content to protect yourself, your company? Can they, your potential customer, do almost all of what they need before they even talk to you, or can they purchase without even needing to chat? We're going to get some words of wisdom from Martin and Lyndsay here in a few minutes, but right now it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the Marketing Profs community. Yep, time for From the hashtag MP B2B community. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We search far and wide in the hashtag MP B2B universe to find amazing information and conversation to bring to you, the masses. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag, and second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you or your crew on the show. This week, it's Christine Gritman, building your professional brand, speaker, podcaster, content creator, community builder, GIF queen or GIF queen. No hate mail, please. Her LinkedIn post goes like this. My guest episode of Carrie Ann Benton Stimpson's The Internal Marketing Podcast is also a great preview of what I'll be discussing on stage in Boston in a couple of weeks for Marketing Profs hashtag MP2B Forum, personal branding for employees. Check it out and let me know. Do you have any stories of employees whose personal brand benefited their companies? On the flip side, do you have any cautionary tales of companies who did not support their employees' personal brands? But you need to check out the description and click that link to check out the post and read, listen, and learn more. Marketing Smarts viewers, I have to ask, are you going to be the next to get the spotlight? Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or X, Twitter, and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me in the post as well. I'm George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and Twitter, Mr. George B. Thomas on the Book of Faces. All right, let's kick it back to Martin and Lyndsay Huntbach and some words of wisdom around this topic of B2B marketers and creating content that sells. Here is what Martin and Lyndsay wanted to leave us with. Take a listen.
Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Are you going to steal mine? We have the same brain.
You go first.
I'll steal yours then.
Okay.
Mine is probably people don't care what you say. I've stolen yours, haven't I?
That's okay.
People don't care what you say, they care what you publish. So essentially, what you can say anything to anyone on a Zoom call, on a phone call, in an email privately. But it's only trustworthy when it's public content out there that everyone can see. And that is what's going to help you, get more sales. Sorry, I stole yours. That's what I like to do.
So my advice would be, it's your responsibility. And what I mean by that is it's absolutely your responsibility if you have clients who are difficult, if you have clients that take up too much time, if you have clients that don't reply and ghost you. It is unfortunate, but it is your responsibility in order to create content to prevent that happening again. It's fool me once, you know.
You know the phrase.
You know the phrase.
You know the phrase. Hey, they don't care what you say. They care what you publish. Boom. Thanks, Lyndsay, for those great words of wisdom. And Martin, dang, it's your responsibility to create content, to create that content that protects you, protects your company, and turns the right people into the right clients that you can love. Hashtag better client relationships. Have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know. Use the hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you're joining us on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, time flies when you're having fun, but it is time to wrap this bad boy up. Head to the description below, click on the links to the full Marketing Smarts podcast with Martin and Lyndsay, and keep learning more about B2B marketers and creating content that sells. Remember, these were just a few clips of the original Marketing Smarts podcast interview. It was a great one. If you got value from today's show, though, hit that like and better yet, share it with a friend. To keep learning more, hit subscribe or watch additional Marketing Profs videos on your favorite social channel, or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can go tune into the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com /MP today. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts Live Show. Oop, not next week, because next week I'll be at the B2B Forum, but we'll be back the week after that.